I'm talking about the Woman King. I'm talking about a scene in the Woman King where it's close to the end. It's we're in the fort where there is the battle going on, and the Woman King, or who's gonna be the Woman King, she is fighting the guy who um essayed her, in the film, and she's fighting him. And they're tussling. He throws her against a barrel. He keeps punching her and slaps her, and he pulls out a knife to try and stab her. He stabs her all the way through. The section of her arm that is facing up, where the for the palm of your hand, right? So if you look at your hand right now while I'm talking, look at my hand while I'm talking right now. Look at my arm. So he stabbed her right in the middle of the arm with the palm facing up. Right? That is an artery. There's arteries that come down through there, right? So I don't know if any of you know or what it may be. If you cut your artery, or if something happens to your artery, or injury happens to your artery, it's very, very difficult to stop bleeding. And I think it might cause some sort of paralysis. I have to Google it. But I know that she was stabbed in her artery, right? So that's an injury that will probably not stop bleeding, right? And you can see, obviously she wrapped it right in the yellow cloth, but that's an injury that is not going to stop bleeding. It went straight through her arm, actually. Like maybe a whole bunch of the blade was in it up to the handle, right? So this is a long blade. This is like a kitchen knife that is curved. It went straight into her arm, and all the handle really sticked out. So I can Google it right now. What happens if my artery is bleeding or cut? Right? I guarantee you, when an artery is cut, the wound bleeds as pulses due to the high blood pressure. Bleeding is rated as highly serious as soon as making sure that both one's heart and lungs function properly. If not stopped, the bleeding leads to losing most of the blood due to the high blood pressure. Right? So if you and also the artery is a rapidly pulsating, it constantly pumps blood around your body, right? So this is a vessel, a thing of blood. So she should be gushing blood the second she pulls that knife out of her arm. She should be gushing blood because that artery has just broken, and the blood that's supposed to be sitting from her, from her arm or from her hand or whatever it may be, should be gushing out because her artery just got stabbed. Right, it just got stabbed. So it says artery bleeding is characterized by rapid pulsing spurts, sometimes several meters high. that's probably up to my roof or in my room, as much as 18 feet away from the body, because it's heavily oxygenated. Arterial blood is said to be bright red, right? So in many cases, and I would say, like, she probably cannot heal from that, right? And there wouldn't be the medicine there either. They don't have. I guarantee you, in that time period, it's like 1800 something. They do not have surgeries to the extent of, like, tying up wounds and stuff like that. I don't think, but that would be a serious wound that she would have to somehow get fixed up, somehow get her arteries in place, or have them heal, or whatever it may be. But she should not be surviving that thing. That thing she'll be bursting blood and just shooting blood everywhere, But I mean, it's the movie. I like the movie. It wasn't bad. But what I pointed out really heavily was that, come on, bruh. She should be shooting blood. Do some research into, like, if your artery bursts or something like that. It's like it's constantly moving blood. This shouldn't. Come on, come on. But it was a good film, though. I liked the film. Some people probably didn't like it, but I think the characters were set up pretty good. There's obviously a couple problems that I noticed, but nothing too serious where I need to point it out. Like this, that wound that she took in the arteries or her arm doesn't make sense, and it needs to be explained more. There should be a scene where she's seen patching it up or something like that, or something like that. We did get an end credit scene, which was kind of insignificant, and it didn't really do any much for me, at least. But I enjoyed it. Go watch the movie as well, The Woman King, and this is my criticisms of this scene, and I don't like this scene as much, and it seems very cringe, and it is really, like, this doesn't make sense. So if any doctors are watching this, probably not. Leave your comments, tell me whatever about it. But bye bye.